Hey, do you know why goblins can't get witches pregnant? Because they got Halloweenies.
It's time to spend some time with Rick.
Okay, so what I was going to do was give you the full Halloween experience. My original intent was to create this vlog where I was going to document what we typically do on Halloween, which would be everything from carving the pumpkin. This is the most satisfying moment. Yeah. Yeah.
Smell the pumpkin!
To dressing up in costumes.
Happy Halloween! Oh! Did you know that vampires make fantastic Major League Baseball players? You know why? Great bat speed! Goodbye!
Yo, this is the Italian style Rocky Balboa, and I got a bat or something, right? Are you gonna bite me, bat? I got bit by a bat.
Yep.
Are you a blood-sucking bat?
Yep.
So I should call you blood-sucking bat? Hey, yo, blood-sucking bat!
To a big event that used to be done that we did every single year. But that big event isn't being done anymore. And Ashley and Harrell had to go out of town and wouldn't be here on Halloween.
Pardon me, boy. Is this the Transylvania station?
And Alexis and Micah actually had plans with some friends in another part of Los Angeles.
Toga, 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 toga.
The usual kind of family-oriented big Halloween thing that we do wasn't happening. Instead, I'm gonna give you just basically the teacher in me teaching you things about Halloween. You can find a lot of videos about the origin of Halloween, but what I'm gonna do is tell you about just why it exists here in the United States, and then particularly what it's like for us. Put on my teacher hat.
Gentlemen, open your text, page 21 of the introduction.
The other thing I was gonna do, I really was intending to put on makeup and be Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. In fact, here you go. I've got some of the makeup right here. Instead, I'm saving that. Corbin and I have talked about something the rest of the stupid babies don't know. This is just for you guys here on my channel. Corbin and I would really like to do a reaction at some point where he is Heath Ledger's Joker and I'm Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, because respectively he can do a pretty frickin' solid Heath Ledger Joker, and I know based on the practice I've done that I'm gonna be able to do Joaquin Phoenix's Joker. We wanna do a reaction where we're in full-blown makeup and costumes the entire time. So, shh, that's a secret. Really quick history about Halloween. Halloween is a Celtic holiday in its origin, and the Celtic people are the Irish, the Scottish, it's that whole region of Europe. And specifically, I've been told, Halloween got here because of the Irish.
You mean Ireland? Yeah, it's mine.
Yes, Corbyn has something else to be proud of as an Irishman. But during the Great Potato Famine, the Irish came over here to North America, and with it, they brought their festival. What it basically boiled down to is there's this connectivity between the spiritual realm and the physical realm, and the concept of spirits walking the earth. And also the concept of life after death and seeing the spirit of a human being live beyond death. In the United States, what happened was the Irish brought it here, and then early on, one of the things that they started to do was they were pranksters. So in addition to bobbing for apples and some of the other things that they did as these celebratory things for this festival, they also pulled some pranks, like they would take fences off of front yards, and in order to not be recognized, they would wear masks. They'd put on costumes. And then what would happen, trick-or-treating began kind of as a form of bribery. Some people began to recognize over the years that one of the ways they could stop the vandalism from happening on Halloween was to give the kids some treats and say, hey, I'll give you some candy if you leave my fence alone. And so that is where trick-or-treat came from. It literally started off as the kids coming up to the front door with their masks on so they couldn't be recognized as the neighborhood kids, and say, okay, you gonna give us a treat, or are we gonna pull a trick on you and steal your fence from you? Thankfully, the vandalism went away, and what was replaced was the dressing up in masks and costumes and getting candy for it. The jack-o'-lantern, the pumpkins, is a completely different story in and of itself as well. A lot of the symbolism behind that, that's part of my favorite thing, is about light shining in the darkness. And really, this concept of life conquering death. It's not the primary focus for Americans here. What Americans focus on Halloween as a whole is not any religious significance or cultural significance from anything other than American origins, because what Halloween has become here is simply a fun night to dress up, do cosplay, is what they refer to it as. It's costume play. To be able to pretend to be something you're not, dress up like a favorite character, whether you're a kid or an adult, and be partying and having fun and have candy. It's just an excuse to dress up and play and enjoy little kids using their imagination to pretend to be their favorite hero or their favorite princess, and adults getting the opportunity to be whatever they want to be. I was saying this to Indrani because I was on the phone with her, and somebody came in dressed up. It was a guy dressed up like some gothic woman. Black lipstick, choker necklace on, hair and pigtails, at Starbucks getting a coffee. And I pointed it out to Indrani while I was on the phone with her, and I said, only on Halloween can you do this and it be okay. For example, if I was to dress up like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker on Halloween and walk into any establishment and order a coffee or get something to eat, I would be looked at with smiles, and people would think it was cool if I had great makeup on. Any other day of the week, if I walked into a Starbucks or a restaurant dressed up like Joaquin Phoenix's Joker, the security or police would be called. It would not be acceptable. But that is one of my favorite things about Halloween, is on Halloween, it's the one day of the year here where everybody gets to be an actor. Everybody gets to put on makeup, everybody gets to put on a costume, everybody gets to pretend to be something they're not, they get to use their imagination. And thankfully, what it has been for the most part over the years is a really beautiful time of friends and family. Back in the 1950s, American neighborhoods were very friendly. The kids could go out and play in the streets. Even when I was a little boy, I could leave on a Saturday early in the morning and not come back until the sun went down. And my mom or my dad wouldn't be worried about me. Not so in today's world. very rare that you can find communities where the kids can go out and play in the neighborhood and be gone for hours at a time and you not be concerned about them. Halloween is a holiday that allows the kids and people to walk around and be friendly. When else can you walk up to a stranger's door and knock on it and not be concerned, either as the person in the house as to who's knocking on my door, or you walking up to a stranger's house? It's a really beautiful time when you walk around the neighborhoods and you see the kids dressed up and you see the people sitting in their driveways sometimes giving out the candies. It's a really beautiful time where everybody is being friendly and familial and having a great time together. So this isn't a really big informational video by any stretch of the imagination. And I'm sorry it doesn't have all the commiserate bells and whistles that I would have liked to have done, especially the dressing up kinds of things or footage other than the ridiculous, silly things I've put on here. But that's really all that Halloween is for us here in America. And it is huge. There are stores that open up that are only open during Halloween. There's a costume store here called the Halloween Store. And it rents out big warehouses. And it's only there from like September to October so people can buy their Halloween costumes. And there's a lot of parties and a lot of candy is eaten by the kids and a lot of dressing up, a lot of fun. Thankfully, it's typically a safe holiday and it is huge. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's the biggest money-making holiday in America, second to Christmas, in terms of retailers making money with the sale of candy, the sale of costumes, things of that nature. And the carving of pumpkins is always a lot of fun. And some people make pumpkins that are scary looking, some make them silly looking. The carving of a pumpkin has actually become an art form in and of itself. But again, that too, it's a time for the family to be together and do something together. And there's also some people here who, because of their religious affiliations or for whatever reason, they are passionately against Halloween. They not only don't celebrate it, they think everybody else shouldn't celebrate it. You'll have people here, not a large population of it, but you'll have a small handful of people who will say that it's celebrating the devil. But the majority of Americans here see it as simply a family holiday, a time to dress up, a time to have sweets, a time to see little kids dressed up, a time to have a lot of fun and let your imagination run wild. And also, and this is partly for me and my family, a time to really kind of mock death and say that ultimately death and scary things, you don't get to rule over us. Life wins, light wins, and yeah, so if you want really the roots of it, like there's a lot to look up for All Hallows Eve and All Saints Day and the different cultures around the world that celebrate it for religious and cultural reasons. Lots of videos on YouTube. This was just what we do here, and I wasn't even in costume doing it. Really sorry, but like I said, our family didn't do a big thing this year for the first time and probably ever for various reasons. I hope this was informative for you stupid babies. I did this just for you to see and get an idea of what Halloween is like. Hope it was helpful. Maybe next year there's going to be a lot more involved costuming and things that I can show you vlog style other than informational. Happy Halloween.
Vad är jag plan du med Halloween? A Frankenstein monster? Don't do it. Mommy? Don't do it. Werewolf? Don't do it. It is best to be a vampire. Me. I am the undead. I can't die no more.
Be me too.
What is that? Don't you want to be a bloodsucker?